An update on a story we first reported as breaking news at 3 o'clock. Metro homicide detectives are investigating the discovery of a body in the desert.
And developing now, Metro police are investigating after a man is murdered and dumped in the desert.
Crime alert tonight. Police right now, they're investigating after a dead man was found right in the desert area. Metro says the man was murdered at a different location and then dropped in the desert.
Metro police are investigating the discovery of a dead body. A man found in the desert. Homicide detectives are now handling this case.
On January the 29th of 2021, headlines would read, North Las Vegas police are investigating a homicide after a body was found this week in a desert area just outside of the valley. Police say they got a call around 9 a.m. Monday about a person found lying in an area near Las Vegas and Clark Peterson Boulevard, about 4 miles northeast of the Las Vegas Motor Speedway near the Apex landfill. Detectives and crime scene investigators responded, and the manner of death has been determined to be homicide, according to NLVPD. The Clark County Coroner's Office identified the body as 21-year-old Rayshawn Williams of Los Angeles. Rayshawn died from gunshot wounds, according to the Coroner's Office, and his death has been ruled a homicide. This is still an active investigation, and no additional details are available at this time to protect the integrity of the case. Anyone with information or who saw suspicious activity in the area where the body was found is asked to contact NLVPD. It is this previously breaking news that brings us to our story. The 6'3", 170-pound class of 2018, Rayshawn Williams was a standout athlete at Crenshaw High School, now known as Crenshaw High STEM Magnet, located at 5010 11th Avenue in Los Angeles, California. Rayshawn, the standout wide receiver for the Crenshaw High School football team, was also an aspiring rapper. Not only did Rayshawn play for Crenshaw, he lived with Eugene Henley, aka Big U, for a short stint and was teammates with Big U's son, who is now a linebacker with the Los Angeles Chargers. After noticing Rayshawn's talent, Big U would quickly sign him to his unique music record label, hoping to make Rayshawn the next big rap star coming out of Los Angeles. Unfortunately, this would never materialize. Just like something out of a hood gangster flick, unimaginable would happen. It's 3 weeks into 2021, January the 23rd of 2021 to be exact. Big U and his right-hand man Vave have driven from Los Angeles to Las Vegas in a Lexus sedan to confront Rayshawn about what Big U perceived to be lack of production in a music studio owned by a Grammy award-winning producer. It's approximately 2 a.m. Big U arrived at an Airbnb Daddy booked for Rayshawn. It was at this point that a heated exchange would take place between Big U and Rayshawn. As the argument escalated, Big U aggressively confronted Rayshawn about not being at the studio the previous day, wasting studio time, reiterating that Rayshawn's actions were a total disrespect, not only to his unique music brand, but to Big U himself. Rayshawn's nonchalant attitude towards the entire situation would obviously piss Big U off, not to mention that Rayshawn would double down, dropping a diss track aimed directly at Big U. It was these turn of events that allegedly triggered Big U to kidnap and murder Rayshawn for what Big U would call disrespect. The story goes like this. On January the 24th of 2021, Big U and Vay arrived to the studio where Rayshawn was scheduled to record a song. At the direction of Big U, Rayshawn, whom was under extreme pressure, recorded a song at the studio before midnight.
I said we die alone, we die alone.
On January the 25th of 2021, at approximately 12:58 a.m., Big U, fully aware that his two phones could be pinged, would allegedly turn them off and or put them in airplane mode while in the vicinity of the studio. It was alleged not long after that, Big U drove Rayshawn from the studio back to the Airbnb. At approximately 1:20 a.m., Rayshawn left the Airbnb with his suitcase packed packed and hopped in the whip with Big U. This would all take place one day before Rayshawn was scheduled to check out from the Airbnb and one day before Rayshawn's return flight to Los Angeles. It was alleged that on that same night, Big U drove Rayshawn north of Las Vegas on Interstate 15 near the Apex Regional Landfill. Ultimately, Big U ended up driving south on Interstate 15 back to Las Vegas. At approximately 2:15 a.m. is when Big U's two phones both began reporting location data again, indicating that they were turned on or taken out of airplane mode, while Big U was continuing to drive south from Interstate 15 to US 95 back to Las Vegas. According to plan, at approximately 2:20 a.m., Big U hit up Vay, who was still at the studio. 10 minutes later, at approximately 2:30, Big U returned to the studio, telling an employee at the studio that he had gone to the gym after being questioned about sweating profusely. It wouldn't be long before Rayshawn's body was found off Interstate 15 with multiple gunshot wounds to the head.
Police right now, they're investigating after a dead man was found right in the desert area. Metro says the man was murdered at a different location and then dropped in the desert.
Attempting to cover his tracks, Big U contacted the producer and owner of the studio to inform him that Nevada homicide detectives would be interviewing him about the death of Rayshawn. Big U, knowing the seriousness of what he had allegedly pulled off, contacted the producer and demanded that he and his employees leave the studio premises. At the direction of Big U, one of his associates, along with others, removed portions of the security system from the studio, including security video and data from the times Rayshawn, Big U, and Vay were present at the studio prior to Rayshawn's murder. On the January the 27th of 2021, at approximately 10:30 p.m., an associate of Big U asked the Airbnb owner if there were cameras on the property. That same associate would direct the owner of the property to delete the account that he used to book Rayshawn with and not to speak with law enforcement about Rayshawn's murder. Nearly a week would pass, and on February the 3rd of 2021, Big U's wife falsely informed detectives that Big U did not live at his residence full-time when questioned. 2 years later, on February the 14th of 2023, on an intercepted call, after speaking with detectives, Big U's wife called Big U from his father's phone to warn Big U that detectives were seeking to discuss Rayshawn's murder with him, to which Big U would ask how many officers were there. Obviously tipped off by this phone call, beginning on February the 14th of 2023, Big U began to evade law enforcement interaction regarding Rayshawn's murder. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to know that Big U would not return home to his residence for multiple days. To further evade law enforcement interaction regarding Rayshawn's murder, Big U switched up cards with Vay. On another intercepted call, Big U called Bear Claw to schedule a meeting to discuss Rayshawn's murder and evading law enforcement. Unaware that his phone had been tapped, Big U would continue to talk on the wire. On another intercepted call, Big U called another one of his associates to discuss Rayshawn's murder. These phone calls would continue through the latter part of February of 2023. On February the 16th, while talking on the wire, Big U told the same associate that he was traveling to Las Vegas the following day to holler at the producer. I swear you can't make this shit up, homie. On February the 21st of 2023, on another intercepted call, Big U ordered his son not to talk to anyone about Rayshawn's murder. On that same day, on another intercepted call, Big U told his wife to call KF's mother, but to do so on the encrypted FaceTime application to discuss Rayshawn's murder. While still on the wire, Big U told his wife to be careful what she discussed on the phone regarding Rayshawn's murder. Once again, a call would be intercepted on February the 21st of 2023. This time, Big U would arrange meetings with Vay and Bear Claw. On February the 23rd of 2023, as captured on a hidden recording device surreptitiously placed inside under the hood muscle cars, and after law enforcement attempted to contact Big U and Vay, Big U began to speculate whether or not they were under surveillance for Rayshawn's murder. Out of nowhere, things would go quiet for Big U, so he thought. On March the 19th of 2025, Big U was charged in a federal criminal complaint. Big U's arraignment was scheduled for April the 8th in a United States District Court in downtown Los Angeles. Big U's detention hearing was scheduled for April the 10th of 2025, also in federal court. Also charged in the complaint were Sylvester Robinson, aka Vay, Mark Martin, aka Bear Claw, Jermaine Ashley Williams, aka Loose Cannon, Amani, aka Monty, Frederick Blanton Jr. of South Los Angeles, and Tiffany Chanrika Hines. On Thursday, March the 27th of 2025, a federal grand jury returned a 43-count indictment charging Big U, the purported anti-gang activist and longtime leader of the South Los Angeles street gang, the Rolling 60s neighborhood Crips, with dozens of felonies, including fraud, robbery, extortion, tax evasion, embezzlement of donation to his charity that receives public money, and running a racketeering conspiracy in which he allegedly murdered Rayshawn Williams.
An alleged LA gang leader, Eugene Henley Jr., has just been named in a 43-count federal criminal indictment. Prosecutors accuse Henley of racketeering, fraud, extortion, and embezzlement. Henley surrendered to authorities last week in connection with a federal complaint linking him to the 2021 killing of an aspiring rapper.
Big U is charged with 1 count of conspiracy to violate the Racketeer Influence and Corrupt Organization Act, aka RICO, 2 counts of conspiracy to interfere with commerce by robbery and extortion, aka the Hobbs Act, 1 count of Hobbs Act robbery, 9 counts of attempted Hobbs Act extortion, 5 counts of Hobbs Act extortion, 1 count of transportation of an individual in interstate commerce with intent that the individual engage in prostitution, aka the Mann Act, 15 counts of wire fraud, 5 counts of embezzlement, conversion, and international misapplication of funds from an organization receiving federal funds, 1 count of bank fraud, 1 count of tax evasion, and 2 counts of willful failure to file a tax return.